Hey, that's a catchy little tune, isn't it?
Catchy indeed.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Pyramid Science Foundation live stream. I'm Lisa Richards. I'm vice chair of the foundation and the owner of Alter Ether, newly replaced by Pyramid Surge. So, here with me, as always, is Charmin Charlie Zeese, chairman of the foundation and owner of Stargate Pyramids. And we're thrilled to have you with us today as we welcome the wonders of the Bosnian Pyramids.
That's right.
Before we dive in, Charlie, what's new with you? Do you have any updates to share with people?
These are just research updates. I have really been focused almost exclusively on looking at fluid dynamics and sacred geometry and doing a really deep dive now in anticipation of a documentary I want to put out and then subsequently a book on this. But I have to tell you, this is it's like the Gothic cathedrals all over again. The powers of phi geometry are showing up everywhere in these especially like in the airplanes. It's not just the nose cone and so forth. It's the angle of the wings and the angles of the rudders and all this stuff. And so I have been spending an inordinate amount of time looking at pictures, but this is going to be just monumental research demonstrating that the golden ratio is involved in really in the creation of our experience in our universe, as my model has depicted. So anyway, that's what I've been doing, and it's going to be at least a month before I get this thing finished because I just have too many more rabbit holes to go down. But it's going to be exciting when we get this information out. Thanks.
Nice, nice. You'll be writing another book here soon.
Oh, it will be. I think I got three in the works.
Yeah.
Rewrite of the first one on the cathedrals, and now one on fluid dynamics. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very nice. You're going to be a busy guy.
Yes, indeed. I am already.
Me too. Yeah. So, my announcements for the day, guys. Check out my new website, totally revamped, rebranding. I'm going to go under Alter Ether now. It's not just about pyramid energy anymore for me. It's about a whole slew of things, and I don't want to go into that now. I'll do a separate video on that when I'm ready to really launch the site. But just check it out. I have different services that I'm offering, revamping some of my products as well. So stay tuned for that. And the other announcement is hearing impaired viewers, the closed captions will be added to the live stream later in the day. Right now, I've only figured out how to do it to YouTube. So check out the YouTube if you want to watch it in closed captions. Later today, I'll try to figure out how to do it on Rumble. There has to be a way to do it as well, but nothing is ever just simple. You have to, it's many steps to do it, but I finally streamlined it for YouTube. So to make it worth our while and for you guys, to make it more efficient for you guys as well. But now it's time for the show. And today we're going to journey into the mysterious depths behind the Bosnian pyramids, where ancient tunnels, rich with negative ions and powerful energies, offer extraordinary healing. Kevin Muldoon was with us before, and today's he's with us again. And he's a successful entrepreneurial and spiritual seeker. He has explored these wonders since 2014, deepening his connection with Dr. Sam Osmanovich, the founder of the Bosnian Pyramids and these mysterious sites. Kevin's journey powerfully inspires others to seek growth and transformation, harnessing the profound wisdom of the ancients. And we're excited to have Kevin Muldoon with us today. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lisa and Charlie. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, it's great to be back. Uh, if you didn't see the video holy cow, it was a month ago, last month.
Yep.
Yeah, you can watch that, and I won't repeat myself too much, I hope. Uh, but I am Irish, so I may dabble in that. But I've been to Bosnia 3 times, and I wound up there by accident. I mean, it was, hey, my daughter was going to school in the Czech Republic. So I said, hey, I have to go and see where my money is going. And then it was like, hey, there's pyramids in Europe. And I found they were in Bosnia. So I went to Bosnia, and they were so, the week that I went, they were having the spring equinox conference. So I went to that, and some of the pictures you will see uh, will be from there. But I also had I had a wonderful time. And so next year I went and volunteered. And it's it's an open volunteer program. So it's just like National Treasure. We give it back to the people. So everybody is welcome. You, me, anybody is welcome. Whatever uh, your belief is, whatever your stage in life is, it's everybody's welcome. So
Yeah.
go and volunteer and spend one day working, and or spend a whole week or more working. And I know people who have done all of the above. So,
That's
um,
on my bucket list, that's for sure. I would love to excavate the tunnels and check out the energy in the pyramids and even the people around there. They're just so nice, I hear.
they are. So you won't be uh, upset by going and visiting that. And if you can see the energy, and there's both in the pyramids and or on the pyramids and in the tunnels, you can see all that. And we'll talk about the tunnels today. And I've spent most of my time in the tunnels. So it's excavating and researching and just meditating. So I have done all of that and more in the tunnels. So, but as Lisa mentioned, I know Dr. Sam. I I knew him by de facto. I didn't know him to begin with, and he was conversing with me via email and said, "Hey, if you come, well, we have a conference, that spring equinox conference." And I was like, well, okay, I'll go. I didn't know until I was there that he was the founder, and I was like, oh man, I must have something. So I got really lucky conversing with him. So, um, and this is one of the pictures just outside of the first tunnels that we're going to talk about. Now, came out of the tunnels just working. I mean, uh, one of the things we had was wheelbarrows. So,
That's
um,
you in the yellow construction hat, right?
yes,
Okay.
uh, yeah, right here in the yellow construction hat, coming out of the tunnels, right here. The first tunnels, the ones that were founded first, and we have since found more tunnels, and we're excavating them by hand. I mean, it's hard work,
Mm.
but it's rewarding. So we have excavated more than 2.75 kilometers, which is 1.5 miles, by hand. So that's what the wheelbarrows are for. They're for digging dirt, and we put them in a pile outside, and then sift through them to see what's going on. And all of this is done under the guidance of an archaeologist and or a geologist. This is Mera. She's from Bosnia, and She was our on-site, what do you want to call it, archaeologist at the time. So I think this was 2015. Yeah. So it was good.
Kevin, where is the entrance? Like, how far away is the entrance to that from the pyramids, from the Pyramid of the Sun, let's say?
So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So in a little bit, it's about 2 kilometers um, from the Pyramid of the Sun.
Okay.
So you can see this is the Ravna Tunnel complex that we just mentioned, and that is the this is the Pyramid of the Sun right here, the one with orange, the orange on top. So
Okay. Now, is
so
that where most of the excavating action is now? There's nothing really on the top anymore, right?
so there's not on the top. On the sides there are some excavation. We don't own all the land on the pyramid, so it's there's a what do you want to call it? A fort on top of the Pyramid of the Sun because it overlooks the valley. It was a good place for people to say, "Hey, what's going on?" and see what's coming and what's going in that valley. So it was a good lookout place. Um, so there's, but there's excavation going on down around the base, or it's not the base. We have found the base is even further into the valley than we thought originally. But excavation around the corners. So what we found is the blocks and the 90-degree angles of those blocks. It's all yeah. It comes and goes. So, but most of the excavation is on the tunnels, and we are going more and more into those tunnels. And in this picture, you can see Paul is giving a device to Mera, the archaeologist, and that device is really to study the oxygen levels in the tunnels. So typically, when you have a tunnel, you have a way in and a way out. So something to get oxygen in case of a collapse. So this says, hey, your oxygen is going low if that's the case. And it'll alert you what that oxygen level is in that case. And Paul was an engineer working on submarines in the UK. So he had access to these devices.
Oh, it's like a
So,
mechanical canary.
yes, exactly. So, and everything in Bosnia is donated or is bought by the foundation because the government doesn't give them anything.
Yeah.
So, and we can talk about that more, and that's for a later discussion, if you will. Um, so, uh, yeah. So when we talked about the pyramids, we talked about the criteria for pyramids. This is a quick recap. I mean, there were 12 criteria, and number 5 was underground tunnels. So, we're going to focus today on the underground tunnels and what was found in them, or what is found um, today. So we'll talk about those. And we have gone into geometry, construction, orientation, sacred geometry, all those things before last month. Wow, that was not that long ago. So, so this is, we already talked about the tunnels are next
I'm
to
on a live
the
stream
pyramids.
now.
So, and they're not right underneath the tunnels, or right underneath the pyramids. And they were discovered in 2005, and they have been named Rabbit tunnels since that time. And there are now, as of last fall, 6 entrances that have been found. So we will talk about all of those. And then there's the KTK tunnels. So, and this is across the river from the pyramid, but we think they lead to also under the pyramid. So, just by LiDAR and scoping out the direction of those tunnels, we can see that. So the Rabna tunnels, the first one was discovered in 2005. This one, the KTK, was discovered in 2006. 2015 was the Rabna 2. And also the Rabna 3 was in 2018. And over 3,000 artifacts, and you can see some of those artifacts were or have been discovered in Rabna 3 tunnels. So that's good. But they're not from the, what I would call the original creators of the tunnel complex. They were people that, like you and me, lived afterwards and lived in those tunnels and or did stuff in those tunnels, and that's what those artifacts are from. And they're from the Byzantine era, the Roman era, medieval era. They're 1,000 to 3,000 years old. So, I mean, and these are some of the excavators. That's easy for me to say. From that. So, and this is both the excavators as well as architects and geologists in that Radna 3 area. So they were seeing what's this all about. And notice the buckets and the lights on the helmets. That's really to help them see what's going on. So, and Radna 4 tunnels. I mean, you can see all of those tunnels, and we have put, and you will see, we have put up wood for support because we have to. So it's a regulation to keep people safe from cave-ins and that. But these wooden beams are by the foundation. So, but
Kevin, are
no,
all the tunnels all the tunnels that have been found being excavated, or just a few?
just a few. And if you notice, these are considered drywalls. There is no binding material in those drywalls. So there's not clay, not cement or anything. They're just rocks that are purposely laid. You can see there's drywall here and there's drywall there. And you will see many when you go. There's drywalls all over the place. So But inside or behind the dry walls, inside the tunnels, is loose material. So that's how we know that it's a tunnel. It's because it's easy to scoop out, if you will, whereas the walls are sturdier. So and are they're carved the what do you want to call it? They're
Runes?
harder, and it's just they're part of the landscape. So,
I heard that they were brought in, they were river rocks that were brought in from miles away. Is that true?
uh, so there are river rock, as well as some of the material that came out of the tunnels and went back in and covered it up. So think about the excavation and creation of the tunnels. That dirt had to go somewhere. So, and then it went back in to there to really cover up what was being found. So it's it's hard to say why they covered it up, but we'll get to that in a short time. So one of the thing is the drywall. Um, and the Raptor 5 was discovered in 2018. And these are the wooden structures that I was talking about. They're not part of they're part of the excavation that we have done with the foundation, not the original depositors.
Let me ask
Um,
Kevin, when you go into one of those tunnels after the rock wall, is it filled to the top of the uh, ceiling with material, or is it relatively empty after you get through the rocks?
some of them are, and some of them are not. You have to get through, and then there's an open passageway.
Okay,
So um, it's it depends on what that purpose is for, that tunnel is for.
got it.
And you can see here, this is an original tunnel,
Hmm.
and there's no wood or anything. But you notice that this is relatively stable, and all the pressure comes in. It's the best structure because the pressure comes in from all the sides, and it's dissipated from there down to the floor. So it just depends on some of the tunnels have been filled in and are completely filled in, and we have gone through and said, "Hey, we found and broke through," and said, "Hey, there's 50 meters or 75 meters or 25 meters of clean uh, ground." So, does that answer your question, Charlie?
Yeah, yeah.
So, again, more pictures of drywall, and you'll notice the filler material behind the drywall. So this is a block that we found in the tunnels, the Radna tunnels. It's been named K2. But you also notice that it's been sitting on a platform.
Yes.
So why is it on a platform? So it must be important. It must tell you something about why it's there. So we have not moved the rocks or the blocks. that are on pedestals. They're in their original position because we don't know why they were there. So,
This is this what they refer to as the megalith? As a megalith?
yes.
Okay.
So we have done testing on this block, in particular K2, and we can see that what that block is made of. And we know that that block is artificial ceramic. It's gone out to multiple labs, and they have done diffraction and phase analysis on that, and it came back that there's quartz, calcite, and muscovite, and other stuff. It's artificial. It's made. So somebody made that, and somebody put it in that place. Why? What is going on? And we have used geo radar to see what's going on, because I mean, if you look at that megalith, it almost looks like there's a lid, but we can't open it. It's not like a lid like we think about in Tupperware or whatever in bins where we can take the top off. So we do geo radar to see what's inside of the rock or the block that's going on. And we have found inside that megalith that there are multiple quartz deposits and crystal deposits in that. So we know that we can sit around that, and our bodies or our physiology, it takes advantage of that work. If you think about the spiritual aspects of the universe, it's great for that. So the quartz, there are really three areas that the quartz can really help us with. It amplifies the energy, so it's like a beacon. So it can go out to more and more people. And it's quartz also stores the energy. So if you think of computers in silicon, quartz has also been devised that it can hold um, uh, information. So it'll store that info. And I have a piece of quartz in my hand or in my pocket, and I take it everywhere. I always have it. It's it's cut in a specific way that it takes the energy from my body and stores that and whatever I want it to, and tell it to take good things and get rid of the bad things. And the bad stuff, it's the quartz can transform the energy. So not only does the energy come from above, but the energy can come from below. So the energy that comes from below are like sinkholes or radiation that comes from the earth and is stored in that block and then transformed to what's good for us in our bodies. So we can see all of that. And this is that block with people uh, in and feeling the energy and doing a ceremony of that. And this just shows what is possible and what they are trained to do. So the workers are trained and these are some of the workers that go through the tunnels and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And uh, they lead people through and tell them all the good stuff or the bad stuff. So this is another megalith. Are there any questions about K2, the megalith?
Has
I
anyone
don't see
figured out
it.
how it got there?
We don't know. Somebody had to put it there, but we don't know the specifics of that. It's just like the pyramids. We don't know who were the original builders of the pyramids. If you think about the pyramids in Egypt or the pyramids in South America or Central America, we think and we've all been taught that, hey, they're burial places for pharaohs and what more for bloodletting and rituals in South or Central America. And we know they're not true. And just we have seen that these pyramids or whatever all over the world are all over the world, and they can do so much more, which we talked about a month ago. So
I'm sorry if I missed this because I had to pause for a little bit, but how many of these megaliths are there that have been uncovered?
um, I don't know off the top of my head. This is, like I said, another one. I can think of four real quick,
We've got
but there are
some echo
probably
going on.
more.
Is anyone hearing echo?
I am, yes.
Now it's over.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
Okay, good. Sorry.
I didn't do anything. My hands are up here. Woo! So, but I don't know, Lisa, how many of them there are. So,
Okay, thank you.
no, all good. All good. This is another megalith, and you can see that the energy analysis, the picture, shows that, hey, there is something permeating off of that megalith that makes it really penetrate our bodies. It's great for blood circulation in this respect, to help our bodies heal and do that. So this is Veronica. She's from Slovakia. Easy for me to say. Um, but she was, I mean, in our, the foundation is built on really science and archaeology. So we don't give any health guarantees. So, and everybody's health is different. We're all on our own journey. But in this case, this this girl came to the tunnels after going through therapy and that for years. So, and she went to the tunnels for 10 days. And when she first came, she was only using 47% of her lungs. And it went to 84% after the two visits at the underground tunnels.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was like, what happened? And she didn't do anything in the tunnels that you would think, hey, that has an effect on that. she just sat there and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And last year, she went back to Bosnia and she helped excavate the tunnels. So she had a wheelbarrow in her hands and was carrying a wheelbarrow around. So what was not possible when she first went last year was now more than possible.
Do we know what caused her lack of lung capacity to begin with?
No.
Okay.
They couldn't tell you what the cause was and why she had that lung capacity issue. So she was just doing therapy and that
Yeah.
to try
Yeah.
to improve it.
Sure.
But I know people in the Czech Republic, doctors and nurses, have gone and really tested the blood sugar levels, blood glucose levels. So in the Czech Republic or in Europe, they say, hey, between 3.2 and 6.2 is normal. So if your blood glucose level is in that range, yeah, that's normal. 6.2 to 10 is risky. And then above 10 is diabetic. So this person or persons, Jerka and Carell, spent an hour in the tunnels and went from, in one case, 7.8, which you can see here, to 5.1. So that was pre-Ravna tunnels, and this was post-Ravna tunnels. And they were measuring the blood that they had there. So, and they have also measured another person um, at 10.5, which is diabetic, and then went to normal, 5.7%. So remember, commas are periods in America, in North America, and periods are commas. So it's all backwards, and you have to think about that. So, but this is it's not just the first day, it's also afterwards. So the yeah, sugar level, glucose level was diabetic, and on the first day, not diabetic. And afterwards, it stayed that way. So that didn't mean they went to the Ravna tunnels all those days. The blood level, the sugar level stayed significantly lower than when they went the first time. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So something in the tunnel helped their blood level, and we'll talk about that soon. Um, so another woman from Turkey had high blood pressure,
Mhm.
and she visited her friend in Sarajevo, and they went to the Bosnian Pyramids. And now her blood pressure is 140 over 90. So it's regular, it's normal. She doesn't have to take those medications anymore. So
Now, the other people you were talking about, do you know if they retained the benefits after leaving as well?
they have retained it so far. And we'll see if they keep it. But I would expect after just like me, you keep on going back. I mean, once you get hooked, you're hooked. So you tend to go back, and I think people tend to go and see what's going on. So, but this person, um, it has her name and dates. This is a before and an after picture, but you think about the energy in the tunnels and then in our bodies. So if you think about the energy when you went first, that picture on the left is that picture of the auric body. So it's the energy that is you're giving off to the universe, and
Yeah.
your universe is giving to you, and you're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, that's a biofield analysis. I recognize it from the biofield that I'm studying, but that's a horrible. It's reading the light body, the light that's emitted from the body.
Yes,
And that's before on the left with all those broken areas. That's
yes.
horrible.
And on the right is a picture of them 2 hours later. And so
Wow.
notice this
Okay.
is 1428 and this is 16, so an hour and a half later.
Wow.
So it's really 2:30 to 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So, and her balance went from 89% to 100, and she was using more energy than before.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also,
At the
we know,
23 joules she started with and went up to 58 joules, I believe it says, or 50
yes,
joules. My goodness.
yes,
What, 23 and yeah, 58, I think. Yeah. Wow.
yeah. So, and we also take pictures of the chakras. So, this person is relatively in line. So, this is a before picture, and this is an after picture. They're relatively in line, but they're smaller than you would think. Um, when they're small, the chakras are small. That means the amount of energy flowing from your body to the universe and vice versa it can only handle a certain amount. It's like a highway. So a one lane highway is can only handle so many cars, whereas 2, 3, 4 lanes handles more. Afterwards, you can see the balls are bigger, the chakras are bigger, and they're more aligned. So it's if you think about your body and the energy you're giving off
Mm-hmm.
and the energy you're taking in and that movement through your body, it helps really to do all that. And everything we do is measurable. So, like, if Dr. Sam gets into a pinch and people say, hey, you're not doing this or you're not doing that, everything, even the energetic side, we're measuring. So it's both the science and the spirituality aspect of that. So, and you can say, hey, I don't care about somebody else. I only care about myself and what energy I give off. Now, this was me when I first went to the tunnels and afterwards. But really, I was in the tunnels before they took the pictures, so it looks a whole lot better than than it really should be. But I spent 4 days in the tunnels working and doing that. Wow. I mean, you can see the balance is 100%, and I use more energy, and I'm giving off that energy to others and the universe. And my chakras are bigger and more aligned.
Suzanne's asking, the lady who regained her balance, how old was she? But I think you mean when you're saying balance, it's not like she was off balance this way. It was energetic wise balance, correct?
Energetic balance. I'm sorry. Yes. So it was not balance in your legs and that. And I know
Yeah.
exactly what they're talking about, because I'm dealing with balance issues, feet and
Yeah.
whatever wise, motor skills wise, today. So
Do you know how old this person was, though? In
I
the
don't
test?
know how old she is.
Okay.
So Alice, uh, I don't know exactly. I'm thinking she was older, but when I think about older, I mean 30 and above. So
Well, gosh. Well, what am I then?
I didn't ask anybody's age,
Older.
All,
and
30
age is
something.
only a number.
Lisa, old is a sliding scale. It's always 10 years older than I am at any point in time.
Uh, but like I said, everything is measurable. So when we do the auric field photographs, usually the number to take a picture is, for a study is 100. That meets the criteria for a good study. We have done 5,000 people, more than 5,000 people. So, I mean, it adds up.
Yeah.
So, and you notice this guy is using a device we call a Geiger counter, a Geiger meter. So he's really checking the tunnels for any type of radiation from above and below. So they have decided or tested there's no radioactivity in those pyramids or in those tunnels. So if there's no radioactivity, what does that mean the body can do? I mean, we can really start to regenerate. So our body has one job, and that job is to regenerate. And if we're constantly battling with radiation, we're fighting that battle. So the body has to fight that. So, and in the tunnels, there's no radiation, and this is a measurement of negative ions. And negative ions, if you talk to a physician or go to take a doctor's exam or that, they're like, what's the negative ions and what are negative ions? Negative ions are really particles that are not attached to atoms in the universe or in the world. So if they are attached to something like smoke, like um, whatever, smoke or viruses or what, things in our body, toxins. They take that and attach to it and then drop it to the floor. So if there's more negative ions, that means that our body can use those negative ions in a good way. And we can take that and do what we want with them. So in regeneration process, it's good if there's a lot of negative ions. And in the world, there is the Niagara Falls are best known for having the highest concentration of negative ions in an office downtown village, and that they range from 25 to 5,000. But last year we have tested in the tunnels that there are 250,000 negative ions per cubic centimeters. So that
Wow,
means,
that's quite a difference.
yes. And our bodies then can use those and say, hey, we can start the regeneration process because there's really nothing to fight. So if there's nothing to fight, that means, hey, we do what we do best. We regenerate and we go forward and do that stuff. So, I mean, last year, 250,000 is more than Niagara Falls. So I usually use 50,000 to 100,000 as the benchmark. But last year, with the highest, and that's why the Radna tunnels were number one last year in terms of the discovery, because that 250,000 was measured by Dr. Sam himself. So he wanted to see it firsthand. So
Kevin, do you know a reason? I'm looking at the difference between the maximum levels in the summer and the winter, and there's quite a difference. Intuitively, I would have thought it would have been higher in the summer because you'd have more heat. But is there any kind of explanation for that
there's
result?
also more people in the summer. So people take the negative ions and drop them. So, and that's why the amount in the summer is less than in the winter, because there are more people in
Okay.
there in the
Okay.
summer than in the winter.
All right.
So
That
the
makes
people
sense.
are using them.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense. Okay.
So you mentioned, hey, what's the megaliths? This is another one. You can sit around that if you like, and you can feel the energy coming off of that. So, and people have asked about the language, and in the tunnels, there is a megalith, a block that has these writings in them or characters or whatever. So it's
Are
like
they runes? I heard they're runes.
they are runes. They have been compared to the English runes, and it starts with an F, and I'll butcher the name, so I'm not gonna try to say what kind of runes they were, but they were compared to the English runes, and they say there is a stone that says, "Hey, there, the gateway is closed. We are at a standstill. We will have to act as warriors to defend and conquer until we can move again through the Stargate. So somewhere, somehow, there is a Stargate or a way to travel, and we will have to be worthy and found worthy by others to say we can do that again. And until then, we're at a standstill.
So I heard another thing that I heard is, and it'll go along with the runes saying here, is that all the tunnels seem to be filled in a way that portrays that the people who filled them in may still be inside this pyramid.
Maybe, yes.
Hmm.
Yes. And we will talk a little bit about that, but I mean, that's really for everybody to decide if they're still in there and what form they would be. So, this is a picture of the tunnels, and that was taken by me. And I was like, the lens is dirty. Huh. Oh, and that's after cleaning the lens. What's going on? So these are what are called orbs, and you can see them moving in all directions. So they don't go with the airflow, and you can see people taking pictures and that because, hey, what are these orbs? What are these energies? What are these creatures, if you will? And how would they show up in cameras and pictures? So if those people or beings, creatures are still inside the pyramid and they have been closed by in from the outside in or the inside out, that may be why. It's because we're not worthy yet. So, and until we are worthy, we won't get there to the pyramid of the sun, if you will. So these are just different videos in different places. Um, it's like, wow, they're all over the place, and there's energy or orbs or fairies or whatever uh, everywhere in the tunnels. So, and this is a picture. Notice there are multiple orbs. The bigger they are, the more energy they have. So there's a smaller one and a bigger one. Um, so, but we have also found water in the. We're at an hour, so I'll wrap up. But they have found water in the tunnels as well. So there are 5 water channels that we have found so far in the tunnels. And you would think that water would increase or decrease, and being in the tunnels for that long, the water would not be good. So we have had it tested and said, hey, is this water still good? And it's still good. So it's drinkable. And I have a bottle here that I use um, on all over my body, everything or every day. So when I take a shower, that's the first thing I do afterwards. So, but the water also In dry months, it doesn't decrease. In wet months, it doesn't increase. The water level stays the same. Why is that? Again, I don't know. I don't have a reason, but I know it does stay the same. But we have
So,
taken,
well, so you obviously had excavated the tunnels and found an open cavern with these
yes,
running. So nothing had to be excavated there for the water to be in there. How
yes,
big of an area was that you discovered? That was completely open. Do you know?
50 meters.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is a picture, and you can see the um, channel, for lack of a better word, and the top of the water. And there are other pictures where the tunnels or the channel is more um, descript, if you will. It shows there is a channel of water. So
So this is literally taken underwater, this photo?
yes,
Okay, I just want to make sure for the audience because it looked like that initially. I was just shocked that someone was able to do that. That's great.
yeah.
Are there
So
any animals in it? Are there any fish or anything in it?
no,
Hmm.
and you would think that fish would like that, but we don't know where that water comes from. So we have not found the source of the
Yeah, if
water.
it's a little spring or something, they probably couldn't fit through there. So,
Yes. And what we have found is that in normal tap water, the pH can be between 0 and 14. 7 point something is the normal level and probably best. And below 7 is really acid, acidic, and above 7 or an 8, 9 is the pH balance is thrown off. And we have done a test with this is Dr. Masaboto, and I'm butchering his name, and unfortunately he has passed away recently. And he did a lot of work in Japan on the water we are using. So this is just a picture of the water, and in the um, Fujiwara Dam in Japan, this is a picture of the water. And so he freezes the water and takes a picture. So that's the water that comes out of the dam there. And it goes through generators and turbines and that. This is the largest freshwater lake in Japan. So Lake Biva, yes, Lake Biva. So this is the water from there. And this is in Visoko. So you notice that the city water in Visoko it has a hexagonal shape, and it has some um, variation to it, or it has some distinction to it. But this is the pyramid water. So you notice it has a hexagon shape, and it has crystalline structures off of that. So that looks energetically better than any of the water that we have seen so far. And this was 9+ years ago. Yikes. Uh, so it was a long time ago, 9 years ago, when you could still send water via airplanes. So it had to go through a scanner and Sarajevo in Japan, probably somewhere else. So it had to be scanned, and water still looks like this.
Hmm.
So
It'd
when
be
we,
nice if somebody could go directly there to do the testing so it wasn't manipulated by all those other things because it has consciousness and it absorbs that memory, from all the
yes,
things it encounters on that trip. So,
yeah,
yeah.
that means that all the equipment that is used in that has to be transported, and
Mhm.
we have not spent the money to do that. So,
Good.
but uh, I mean, if you think about the purpose of pyramids and the tunnel network, how they work in communion with each other, they can have the benefits of the energy above ground and underground. So it amplifies and takes everything and all the good things to bear and gets rid of the bad things, if you will. So having the tunnels near and under the pyramids is a good thing, and probably is something that a criteria that we should look at. And if you look at Egypt and you look at Central America and you look at others, originally they said there were no tunnels underground, and now they say, "Hey, we lied. There are tunnels underground." So why and what? How do they move the energy and that around?
Hmm.
So I know we're at time, so um,
Well, real quick,
it's
Kevin, we had a couple more questions.
okay. I'm sorry.
Have you analyzed or have they analyzed people's brain waves or EKG tracings in the tunnels?
Not yet. No.
Okay. And then Susan, well, actually, there was two more. So, how deep was the water at the deepest point that you found so far?
So we have only opened up two layers of the tunnels. And the water was in the first one. So I would say no more than 50 meters deep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
50
It-
meters deep.
yeah. Because if you remember the picture, I mean, that tunnel went in and it was at that level. We didn't go up, we didn't go down, and the water was in there. So I would say
Nobody's dove down to test it, to measure for sure?
not the specific measurement in terms of the depth
Yeah.
of that water.
Okay.
Hmm. So, one more. Has anybody discovered fossils in the water?
No.
No, fossils have not been, not to my knowledge. Um, Fossils have not been discovered in the water, so it's clean, if you will. So there were not creatures living in the water per
Hmm.
se. Um, they may have been drinking or taking that water in somehow.
Okay. And then I just have one question. How much did it cost for you to go over there? Is it kind of price friendly for people that want to, go over and help out, or is it kind of expensive? I know once you get over there, the cost of living is pretty cheap, and they
Yes,
have great food, organic food and stuff like that, but
yes. So it depends on where you stay and what amenities you like. Typically, if you go for a tour or a conference, they pay for everything, and it's usually 1,500 to 2,500 per person. That's rounded up to American dollars. So 1,500, 1,600 euros, and up. So it can be pricey, and that does not include
The flight.
getting there, the airfare. So you have to get the airfare, and that can be between $800 and $1,500, depending on where you are and access to um, airports.
Hmm.
So for me personally, it was I flew out of Dayton. I typically go to Prague in the Czech Republic before or afterwards. Um, so it was about $2,500 for me, and that's taking out the Prague stuff. But that was real quick math, and it's been a while since I've been over there. It's been before COVID since I've been over there, but I'm thinking about going back later this year.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, and I have been there in the spring and in the summer. So I have not yet been there at the fall. So
Okay.
it's really between in my area, um, the Serpent Mounds in Peebles, Ohio, and the conference in it's earlier in September, so I may go to that. And Dr. Sam would be at both the festival as well as the book promotions and the scientific conference.
Hmm.
So
That'd be interesting to go to.
it and there are a lot of people in the scientific conference, and you can see the agenda on the website. You can get to that website and then go from that website. And I know they have a link to that conference, and you can see what that agenda is. Because everywhere in Bosnia, I was pleasantly surprised at um, what I found and what I saw in Bosnia. I mean, these are all pictures that I took in Bosnia. So, I mean, the stone spheres, you can see, hey, there's multiple, including the largest now on the planet, and they have an energy coming off of them. We have gone to a castle and ate food in Bosnia. Um, and these are stalagmites, or not stalagmites. What are they? They look like they should be tombs,
Mm-hmm.
but there's not bodies underneath them, and they have already been tested for that.
Hmm.
Um, but there's megalithic structures. You can see this has been created somehow, some way. Why? What? So, and you go to the waterfalls. You can swim in those. So it's good. I love seeing the country and the people and what they're doing um, out in the real world. So it's nice to see all of that. And you can think of Bosnia. If if you think of Bosnia, I mean, that was the start of World War I in Sarajevo. Sarajevo is less than 30 minutes from Visoko and the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun and Bosnian complex, the pyramid complex. And they have built a park. And all of this was done recently. And it was in process when I was there. But Dr. Sam has bought this with his own money and revamped it and given it really to the people. So doing concerts and things in the park is all free. Now you do have to pay to go on tours and go in the tunnels, but that's how we make money and get back to the foundation and pay the people what little we can.
Hmm.
So,
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. People, if you have any questions for Kevin, his email is actually in the description below. So feel free to contact him and he'll help you out. He has direct contact with Dr. Sam as well and can find
yep,
information for you. He actually, we asked him if he could find out what the angle of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun was. So he contacted Dr. Sam and came back and said it was 36 degrees, right?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Thank you for doing that. But thank you so much, Kevin. How can, what do you want to leave people with about the pyramids?
I, if you go, let me know. And if you're going, let me know when you go. Um, and I want to tell everybody, hey, make up your own mind. Go and have an open mind and volunteer and be a part of this process, whether you're spiritual or archaeological or scientific. I don't care. I want to get the word out to people, and it's a fabulous country that you wouldn't know and you wouldn't think about, and I didn't think about, but the people and the places are good and are great. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And we'll just, like we said last time, the Egyptian government is doing its best to try to prove that this is all false, that there are no pyramids in Bosnia. And the whole reason behind it is because Egypt makes all its money on tourism. So if people are going to go to Bosnia instead of Egypt, they'll lose out on a lot of money.
yeah,
So yeah, it's sad that things like this happen, but I think everybody can see all the lies unraveling around them in the world, and they're going to be more apt to look into things like the Bosnian pyramids and keep an open mind. So, I mean, people are going there for and getting spontaneously healed, just like you showed us today. You know.
yeah. And one of the questions was, is it okay to talk Serbian there? Um, I think so. People there, they still remember the war in the early 90s. But if you notice this picture, Djokovic is Serbian and Dr. Sam is Bosnian. So they should, in theory, not like each other. That's what to 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 get on to believe. But they're best friends, and Djokovic is he's a good guy. So you can take that for what it is. So you can talk Serbian if that is your wish, and you can practice Muslim or um, Catholic or Eastern Orthodox or whatever. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's all good. So
Awesome, awesome. Any last comments from you, Charlie, or questions?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I can't wait to get down there myself. Oh, one question I did have, the 36-degree angle, because I'm into is that the angle at the top?
That's the angles of the sides, if you will. So I think there is a platform, a flat top, so there's not a capstone or a headstone per se. So there is a place to land or to do rituals or whatever on top.
Okay.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, thanks so much, Kevin. It was great having you on again. I'm sure we'll have you
Thank
back to
you.
talk more. But everybody, stay tuned next week. We'll have another amazing guest on, and you probably haven't heard from her. Farrah Ware is going to be on with us. Charlie, I don't think neither of us have met her either. So we're
No.
eager to have her on and learn more about her work. So lots of love to everybody, and we'll see you next Wednesday.